Okay, I would like to go ahead and welcome David Shearer to our program. He is the CEO of ISC Squared. ISC Squared is one of the largest global organizations or associations in the world for cybersecurity professionals.
Good morning, Adriana. Great to be with you. Congratulations on the success of the series. I'm looking forward to our conversation. Well, okay, we'll keep it light and try to have a little levity with it. Sometimes I'm introduced as the CEO of the CISSP because everybody knows the CISSP. It is our really flagship certification. And so around the world, it's probably the most widely recognized cybersecurity professional certification, but it's one of our certifications. So ISC Squared is the company, the association behind that certification. We have other specialized certifications in healthcare, in cloud, in secure lifecycle management. And then we have concentrations in the CISSP in engineering, architecture, and management. And so we have 9 different professional certifications that ISC Squared offers. And we have a membership of over 150,000 members around the world in 170 countries. And they've all bought into our vision, that is to inspire a safe and secure cyber world. So they're really out there fighting the good fight every day. Our guys and gals around the world, they're fighting an uphill battle. They're outfunded and outnumbered, but we continue to add to the profession, and we continue to bring people into the fold that want to be on the right side of the law and want to conduct themselves ethically and do some good in the world, to inspire a safe and secure cyber world, so that now with COVID, and I'm sure we're going to get into that with the major reliance on technology, we need to make sure that security is baked into our solutions and not added on or after the fact when a breach or something occurs, when a bad actor actually compromises an organization or an individual. So a certification like one of ours offers hiring officials and organizations some sense of assurance that somebody understands what they're doing. They passed some form of examination. In our case, all of our members subscribe to a code of ethics to act honorably, justly, legally, to protect the infrastructure, these types of things that they commit to from an ethical standpoint. And when you're going to have cyber people that have carte blanche access to incredible amounts of infrastructure and software in an organization, but you want to know that they're not going to take advantage of the access that they have and do something that's counter, that takes on some bad actor type of presence within the organization that they work for. So that's what we try to put forth. And then, of course, with the association, the other thing you get with an ISC Squared member is their commitment to lifelong learning. And we don't just leave that to the individual, that they do that out of the goodness of their heart. In order to keep the certification, they have continuing professional education requirements that they have to meet each year to maintain their certification. So that's right. Our certifications offer hiring officials some sense of assurance that the person they're hiring has passed some form of a rigorous examination, that they know what they're doing relative to cybersecurity. And as you point out, it's a very broad field. And the challenge is, you specialize in privacy and law, and that's a facet of cybersecurity. But there's a whole broad range of topics, from encryption, from networks, from software development, building in security into the software development so that the software that we deploy to our systems don't introduce vulnerabilities and counter some of the hard work that our people are doing around the world. So I think, these are the things that we try to inspire as an association and through our membership. But I always try to shy away from that cybersecurity expert, because there are things in law and privacy that you know far better than I do. And so when somebody, lots of times, because I'm the CEO of the association, they want to say I'm a cybersecurity expert. I cringe a little bit at that, because there are so many different topics of cybersecurity. That's what makes it so challenging. And that's really the strength of the CISSP. Some people say that the CISSP is a mile wide, inch deep. It's probably a mile wide, maybe a quarter mile deep, or whatever debate we can have with that. But we really see that as the strength of it, because if you don't understand cybersecurity programmatically, you can't really run it in the specialized, detailed areas, and you don't know how to put a team together that's going to be able to confront the broad range of challenges that you're going to face as an organization when you take on trying to secure your critical assets and make sure that you're conducting your business in a way that your customers are going to be loyal to you, because they feel like they can trust to do business with you. They can trust any information that you hold on their behalf is going to be safe and secure. And that kind of leads back to that whole ISC squared vision of a safe and secure cyber world. A massive shift to the reliance of technology on a scale we've never seen before. As schools go full-time online, as organizations move to full-time remote work, or at least in the near long term, they're going to be working remotely. And then to exacerbate that, we see the commingling of personal and professional devices. Corporate devices are going home to personal networks and Wi-Fi's on a scale we've just never seen before. So, I don't know that there's a nutshell that you could do when it comes to cybersecurity. But, one of the things we have to be careful of, that there's an incredible pressure to scale our technology to meet the demands of school and businesses and so forth. And that is fraught with the opportunity to overlook security as we do that scaling process. And so I would caution CIOs, CTOs, CISOs. I would even caution boards that are overseeing or governing, the way a company and an organization is scaling. Just because we've brought on 50,000, 100,000 employees and everything appears to be working, the next question should be, do we think we have introduced any security vulnerabilities that we didn't think about? And if so, what are we doing to do that? So with the COVID, if we look at it through the lens of COVID, there's incredible pressure to scale. There's an incredible pressure to bring everything online. And when there's pressure, there's that old saying, you want it bad, you get it bad. So I would caution people to look at best practices, make sure they have the type of cyber staff on hand that knows that as they're building out, they're taking on these projects, almost going through massive digital transformations at a scale, at a pace. Doing it so fast, being forced that way, because this could mean the difference between businesses going out of business and meeting the needs of their customers. With schools, it could be the difference of, can we continue to educate our young, and the dynamics and the paradoxes that exist there, that if they're not in school, there are dangers associated that they may not be getting food that they rely on. They may not be able to tell people things that might be happening on the home front that could pose a danger to them. And if they're at home, they may be vying for the technology. They're the haves and have-nots. Not everybody has a computing device for everybody in the family. And so there's a whole range of things there to make sure that as we scale, we know that there's incredible pressure to meet the needs of businesses and the public. But let's make sure that we're building security into that. And I think this is something that ISC Squared has been trying to point out for years through our workforce studies and so forth, and raising the awareness of gender inequity, and then even going that much further and looking at diversity inequities, especially here in the United States, where we have so much diversity. When there's a dearth of talent and you need to fill the talent, you want to draw from all parts of and all walks of life. not just because of the age-long, the biases and hiring biases that exist, and that we're all trying to raise awareness, and the Black Lives Matter movements and all are raising awareness that we have biases and we need to work on that. But these are the generations we're going to draw from. These are the most diverse generations of our lifetime. So diversity is a part of what's happening. We just need to make sure that that we're building teams that represent that population. And women, I would offer even a different take, that as both parents have started to work, and so I'm an international CEO, but I live in the United States, so I tend to get more US news and try to stay as up as I can on international issues. But what we hear here in the United States is even women that are in the workforce are that maternal instinct is driving them to say, maybe I need to leave the workforce to be home for the homeschooling and making sure that the kids and everything are okay, understanding that there are concerns that even schools that are trying to open, parents rightfully have concerns. Are they going to be able to protect their children? So it's kind of the double whammy that prior to COVID, these challenges existed. But every time you take a natural or human-made disaster, it exacerbates impacts or things that were there before that. And you're exactly right. I think these types of things, when you're forcing a whole family home, and maybe they're sharing, if you're like time sharing the computer, mom and dad are trying to work, and the kids are trying to do their homework, this is creating, incredible challenges on the home front. But we still need to continue to raise awareness. And I think just the fact that we talk about it, and series like this, that you get into these types of questions, amplifies the need for us to remain committed to this. And I would even add, outside of gender inequity, which is easier for us to cover globally because, men or women around the world, is there an equitable distribution from a gender standpoint? But then when you get into racial inequities that exist, it takes on different meanings in different parts of the world. And we still need to remain open to that, because from our standpoint, ISC², we believe that diversity helps us solve problems, that those experiences and just the difference in the way people think, in men and women particularly, women historically know scientifically that have a very good way of blending right and left brain thinking. So there's that creative and that analytical. This is an extremely powerful combination. And so, we just try to raise awareness to hiring officials that if you want to have the best team, you have to be considering diversity. And by the way, the generations that you're going to be drawing from to build your team are going to be the most diverse of our time.
Yeah, and because of the millennials are stepping up, and Generation X, they know how to make this work.
Exactly. So as people like myself get a little older, a lot grayer, lose a lot more hair, we can't be thinking in those old models. We can't be thinking today. We need to be developing and encouraging highly diverse teams to take this on. And to your point, both looking at gender inequity and also looking at other inequities that exist. And we did a study in the United States with the International Consortium of Minority Cyber Professionals, the ICMCP, a few years back, to look at diversity in the United States in the cyber profession. And there were some very interesting findings there. And by amplifying that and raising that awareness, we try to bring awareness to people that are hiring people and looking at the composition of their teams, and maybe doing that personal and sometimes organizational introspection. Are there hiring biases? Are we truly putting together the best and most diverse teams? Mm-hmm. It's an excellent point, but I'll just offer something for you and your viewers to consider. We looked at this, and in the United States, very well that we have some STEM challenges, getting young people interested in STEM and STEAM, which now brings the arts in there. And that's that left-right brain combination, right? Are the bad actors that do cyber crime and cyber attacks are highly creative. They're not just analytical, they're highly creative. So we're all in on STEAM, STEM turning to STEAM and adding the arts in there. But when we look at the APAC region, who has outpaced the United States since like 1995 in the number of STEM students that they put out through their college and university, they still have a shortage of cyber folks. So it's not just that we need STEM, we need to be doing a better job of communicating to young people, and even people that want to cross-train and come into a new profession. The great opportunities and challenges that exist within the profession, because APAC has a lot of STEM students, and we still see shortages within that region when we do our global workforce studies. And so it's not just getting them involved in STEM, it's doing a better job of communicating that cybersecurity can be a great career path for people. You're absolutely right, Adriana. I mean, you mentioned clicking on a link in an email can negate millions of dollars. Maybe you could have a whole cadre of cyber folks that are doing really great work. And so that end user, that employee awareness of how they can contribute and also create a problem. They can contribute to a high security posture through their behavior and their principles, practices, and procedures, or they could actually do something that they just see as innocuous. They don't see it as a problem, but clicking on a link and it launches some type of internal inside of all that perimeter security and all the hard work you've done, launches something that creates a problem for a corporation. So it really is, I kind of look at it similar. There's some similarities between COVID-19 and cybersecurity in that my feeling is it's going to take a global sustained response to deal with cybersecurity. I believe it's going to take a global sustained response to deal with COVID. So the weakest link analogy that we always talk about looms large. In the United States, the state that has the highest infection rates with people traveling across state lines is only going to perpetuate COVID-19. The company that's doing business with other companies that has the lowest security posture can introduce cyber threats to the companies and the people they're interacting with, and they may not even be aware of it. So there are a lot of similarities in how these things occur, but they're also, these are extremely challenging problems to solve. COVID being probably one of our largest public policy challenges in our lifetimes. I mean, it's easy to sit on the sidelines and critique what's going on, but public policy is hard enough. It's inherently challenging in the best of times. Throw in a pandemic, and it's fraught with paradoxes. And cybersecurity is very similar that way.
And Congress just keeps getting bigger and better. Squared is there. All around the world right now, people are more secure and better able to enjoy their lives because Squared is there, because you are there.
Now my challenge. You've got your phone in one hand. I want you to take your other hand. I want to take your finger. I want you to put it on the power button. And I want you to turn off the phone. I heard a no.
But sometimes it does pay to take a risk, to take ownership and take action on an idea.
Thanks again for joining us. And remember, Squared is there.